So best friends got each other's back. We used to cruise around with a bass to the max. Everyone in school while I was in the lab, cooking up some beats that would turn into tracks. High school chillin', I was on a mission. I had bigger dreams of being a musician. Teachers always talked, but I couldn't seem to listen. I lived in a fantasy land, they called it fiction. But I was gonna be big one day, playing shows on the road to a sold out stage. Nobody really cared or believed I would make it anywhere close, I would fail and fade. But that's cool, I love that, cause any little doubt gives me energy back. And now I'm in a place where I'm glad I never gave up on the dreams I had. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. Yeah, let's go. So if you want something big, you gotta swing fast, swing hard and commit. You might miss 10 times, but when you hit, just make sure that you get all of it, okay? People at the top took risks. Investing and testing is all that they did. It's not complicated, it just takes grit. So never give up, take a swing at it. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode number 71. I'm here with my guys, Nicky Steves, Blaze Radio, Coach Ed.
What?
Wait, huh? Wait.
I'm supposed to be the crazy one on here. Nicky's trying to outdo me. I love it.
And shout out, and Rio from the Trash Podcast. Nicky.
What am I missing?
I have so many questions.
Even though our team's not in it, you know what time it is.
Playoffs?
Playoff time. I think Nicky's in playoff mode over here.
No,
What
he's in
is
prison.
that?
He's in prison.
So, Nicky, you got something to say there?
You okay, buddy?
Let's try something different.
One of those days, right? I love it.
Yeah,
Originality.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood, huh?
76, but it's backwards.
I see it. It made me pop. I love it.
I mean, from the mirror, it looks proper, but from this side,
It's almost like a 60. No, it's 69. I'm saying
it's almost like
trying to make it a 69.
kind of like, I don't know, 76 Sting type look. But
like-
also down,
Yeah.
straight down
21.
the nose.
So, yeah, to start off, let's talk about the games from last night. So the Pacers take on the Knicks, and the Knicks defeat the Pacers 121-91. So I'm going to start off with you, Coach. What was the main thing you grabbed from this Knicks win?
Come on, kid.
They didn't play well.
121. Okay.
I mean, Indiana didn't play well. So, I mean, if Indiana plays well, it's a different ballgame.
You guys should know Coach by now. He's not going to come in here, hurrah, hurrah. My team's the shit. We're going all the way. That's not Coach. And that's why I love him. He's being real. They still had things they can improve on, even in a win like that. And
Halliburton, 9 shots. Think about it. Halliburton took 9 shots last night. I mean, let me say this though. Okay, I am happy that my Knicks won. Yes, I am. Okay, and
Yeah.
we're one game away of me going to the Eastern Conference Finals with the team that we have here, losing so many players. You're pretty much having your reserve guys coming up. You're playing pretty much 7 guys, on your bench. So, I mean, Alec Burks played well. Hartenstein was a phenomenal offensive rebounding machine. But I still, the chippiness, they stood up to the chippiness. They didn't back down. I love that point, but Indiana just didn't play well. I mean, hey, we didn't play well the game before. So it both balances out. But, it could easily, if Indiana plays better, who knows?
DiVincenzo, baby. Wow. That's a spark. What I want to talk about when we go through these games is the X factor. A lot of people are talking about that. We know Jokic is going to do good. We know the stars are going to come through, but who's going to be that X factor? To me, that game was controlled by ferocity by the Knicks. I mean, they controlled the pace. They got chippy and took the Pacers right out of their game. Yes, both teams could have played better, but with DiVincenzo getting those dunks, those oops, that almost brawl there, getting chippy, the Knicks are going to win that every time. And even Dante said afterwards, he goes, they ain't tough guys. We took them out of their game and made them try to be tough guys. We the tough guys, and they are. And that's what you do. You take your opponent out of their comfort zone, and that's what happens. It was fun to watch.
They just spanked that ass. Let's be honest. That was not even close.
And like Coach said, it's not their complete team. They're missing pieces, and still people are coming through. They're stepping up. And I want to see Boston, New York so bad in the Eastern Finals. It looks like we're going to get it, but that's going to be
why? Why? As Charles Barkley says, they're going to stomp our ass. They're going to blow us out.
It's time. Tis the season to talk your trash.
We finished it.
You're still playing, Coach. See, us Knicks, Sixers fans, Rockets, we're in the past now. You're still rolling.
No, I get it. That part I get. Is like I said, was I happy we won? Yeah, of course I was. I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't. But when you sit back and you look at it, and I recorded the game and I went back and I looked at it again, and I listened to some content creators. And, there was those who were good. Stephon Marbury was amped up last night. I watched him on Knicks Fan TV. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. But in the same token, I'm sitting there, I'm looking, DiVincenzo, for everything that he did, he didn't score well. 8 points.
He last night he didn't really need to score, though, from what I thought. He fired up the team. And I love seeing the Garden blow up. I love all the star power there. It's like makes me feel like the old days, like when Ewing was there. I mean, you see them show the Marburys and the Ewings and stuff, and the place goes apoplectic, like Earl likes to say. They just go nuts. They love it. And the vibe is so, and I'm not even a Knicks fan, but when they do that, it's like, that's a vibe, man.
They did. The Knicks have done a good job bringing back former players. They took the picture with Clyde and all. It was probably like 10 or 11 of them. So it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, but as a coach, as someone who strives for perfection, I want more.
I don't know who's going to stop the Joker though right now, though, man. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to get to that game next, Mitch, because I think that wheel for the champions are turning right now. It's going to be hard to stop them unless they lose somebody. Aaron Gordon, X factor. Once again, you're getting someone step up, and it's the difference. I mean, they had Bruce Brown last year, and now they have Christian Brown, which is pronounced Brown the same way. And he's stepping out of his comfort zone and doing things I never knew he could do. I mean, when you got someone coming off the bench, 3 threes right in a row, that's what you want in the playoffs, to see these teams go to the next level. I love it.
Yeah, and we had a player that put up 0 in an elimination game. But
we're talking
I
about
just said
it.
Who could that be?
My ass.
that's Nikki. Are you all right there?
Yo, Nikki. Let me teach you a new smooth way to do it too. Split it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do one of these.
No, split it. Put up 3 fingers. There's 3 fingers. Most people look at you like,
read between the lines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Split it. That's it.
So, Nikki, what was the main thing you grabbed from the Knicks defeating the Pacers last night?
when Jalen Brunson's on, the Pacers can't defeat them because games 3 and 4, Jalen Brunson, to his credit, went out there and played. Not to take away from the Pacers winning, but with Jalen Brunson not at 100%, he wasn't shooting the same, and it played a factor in the outcome of those games. But this time around, with him on 100%, even with the other factors of Halliburton not shooting that much, the main factor is Jalen Brunson being on his A game through this series. And has been so far for the Knicks in the playoffs, even with our series of them now in the second round. So now, hey, I mean, at this point, to me, I mean, they're pretty much can close the series because even Stephen A says he feels that the Pacers can't handle the pressure now. He thinks there's a chance that the Knicks might lose Game 6, but Game 7 with the pressure on, it's pretty much over. And I mean, I do feel it's going to be the Knicks and Celtics at this point. Just a matter of how many games and how much longer before we officially get there.
It's weird.
It looks like we're going to see Boston win tonight.
I was just going to say, like, at the end of the regular season, it's like everyone was saying Denver, Boston. And in the first round and stuff, it looked a little shaky. It's like, maybe it ain't going to be Denver, Boston. Right now, it looks like it might be Denver, Boston again. Who knows? I mean, it's still a lot of games to play. We're right in the thick of these. All these game 5s are great, but I want evidence.
Yeah, just for me, the one thing I'm keep on grabbing at is what Tom Thibodeau is playing with, like, what, a 7-man rotation? And for me, and it's just like, I hate all that stretch on Brunson's ankle, but it looks like he's playing fine. He's dropped 44. But for me, it's just like he needs to play more bench, I feel like. Am I wrong for saying that?
I'm going to say this.
Thibodeau doesn't play a deep bench, though. No team that's in Chicago.
That's what I've heard about him too. Is like people keep saying that he runs people in the ground, and maybe.
All right, here's the thing, okay? Because right now this team is breaking that anomaly. They're not being run into the ground, and they're all bought in, and they want to be out there and they want to play. But I was watching Michael K earlier today, and there was one point that they said, because just like this theory, just like players don't want to play for him, and they said players don't want to play for him because they don't want to work hard.
They say they probably tough enough.
Exactly. Where the guys that he has, they're mentally tough. And that's the thing as an athlete. When you're mentally tough, you're putting your body through. As an athlete, you're putting your body through, and that's any sport. You're putting your body through things that you're not really conditioned to do. You train yourself. You mentally have to build your mind up to run through pain. And you think about that, when you're running, normally you get tired, you stop, whatever. But as an athlete, you fight through that. And this is what this team does. They're mentally tough where, you know what? It doesn't matter. They're going to keep coming out here and they're going to keep coming at you, and they fight through the tiredness and they overcome that and the physical pain. Yes, there are some physical pains that will take some of these players out, but the core of this team, they're mentally tough. We don't see this nowadays. Blaze and I can go back to the 80s and the 90s. That's how a lot of players were back then. And you think about that. We're in an era of load management, where they put in a rule for guys to win awards to play 65 games. Michael Jordan and guys back then, they played 82 games. They played 82 games. That you don't see that nowadays. That's mental fortitude. That's the mental fortitude. So that's why this team is different. I don't buy that theory anymore. I'm not buying into Tibbs is running them into the ground. Jalen Brunson is sitting here saying, I'm going to be out here and I'm going to play every damn minute that they allow me to play. And he goes out there and he produces. He's producing. Yeah, he had a couple of off games, but overall, look at what he's doing. Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, okay, he's not scoring, but he's doing a lot of the little things. Deuce McBride, they are dispelling that narrative that Draymond is trying to spew out there, Charles Barkley, Shaq, because people are not really thinking. They're just buying the bait that the media is putting out there instead of realizing, no, look at what your eyes are telling you. Look at what your eyes are telling you. The game before game 4, everyone thought, oh, Jalen Brunson is done. And look at what he did last night. I'm just saying.
Yep. Yeah, and now with that being said, I think that'll be good going into the Denver and Timberwolves, because now Denver is on a 3-game winning streak, and Nikola Jokic playing unreal basketball right now. Blaze, did you say you had something to say about that?
Well, I mean, it was earlier I was watching, they were talking about him. He's like, he's not the prettiest, he doesn't, he's not flashy, but, Jokic is doing everything that he needs to do. As far as the game plan has switched a little bit, because they were talking about earlier, I'm going to give ESPN a little bit of credit for this, that Jokic was normally shoot first, then help out your teammates, then go back to shooting. Now it's shoot first, shoot second, shoot third, and then if he can't get 3 of his choice, then he's going to help his other team, because he's the man. I mean, we got defensive player of the year versus player of the year, and right now to me it's no freaking contest. Jokic is out of this freaking world, and they even said it earlier today, if he keeps doing this at the pace he's doing it in the next 5 years, we're going to be talking about him being a top 10 player of all time, because his numbers will be astronomical according to everything: points, rebounds, assists. And the only person that has 20,000, 10,000, 10,000, something like that is LeBron. And I mean, Jokic is doing it at a pace where it's kind of alarming, because like I was just saying, it looked like the Nuggets were in trouble after game 2. But then they come back and win 2, and then they handily win last night. I think the key to last night was the game plan for the Nuggets. They shut down Anthony Edwards. I mean, not completely, but they took him out of his game. And now we'll see if Ant can be that elite. He has to overcome that, because those double teams were eating him up. Nobody else for the Wolves were stepping up like Aaron Gordon and people and Brown and people for the Nuggets were. The Nuggets are on another level right now. They just hit their stride. Can the Wolves fight back? Sure. I still would love to see this go to 7, but the Nuggets right now, they're back to where they were last year in the playoffs, looking like they can't be beat. Not that they can't, but it's going to be very interesting to see if someone can unseat the champs again. And they're looking to do things that we've never seen before.
Yeah, they're the most complete team left in the playoffs. Like, even on off nights, they still find a way to win. And that's what champions do. They find ways to win, no matter if it's not your night or not. I think them switching more to, Joker being the first scoring option was really turn the series around. That, like you had mentioned, Blaze, them shutting down Ant, those double teams starting to get to him. And those other worst cat, the cat's on a milk carton right now. Gobert is getting his lunch stolen.
Mm-hmm. Where's that X factor for the Wolves? That's what I'm saying. Where's that guy? Where's their bench players stepping up, doing tremendous things? Where's their DiVincenzo's and Josh Harts and Aaron Gordons and these guys that are, now is the time. It's playoff time. Put up or shut up, man.
I think for them, it's the same thing with the Pacers, that inexperience starting to show. They've never been here.
NBA is like that, man. You get into the playoffs 1 year, you hardly see that team that's like wasn't in the playoffs for 5 years. Next thing you know, they're in the finals. You know what I mean? Like Rios is saying, you got people with experience in the playoffs. You can kind of see it a little bit now, but I'm not counting anybody out, except for maybe the Cavs. I think the Cavs are done. Everyone else,
the X factor for Minnesota, especially yesterday, was Mike Conley. They missed him.
Well, him not being there was a big factor. Definitely. Because then more of the playmaking goes back to Ant, where they shared it before.
And
Conley's that
shooting percentage was down.
Yes.
Like 33% from the field.
So, I think that hurt more than they thought it would. And whatever their new game plan was didn't work. Whatever the Nuggets' new game plan was, it worked. It really did, and it was impressive. It was impressive to see the champs. Because, winning the title last year, if I'd have asked you guys at the beginning of last year if the Nuggets – I said, Nuggets are going to win it all, you might be like, I don't know. But this year, now you got the target on your back. You are the defending champs. Everyone was after you all year long. But now you're doing it in the playoffs. And, I'm just interested to see who's going to stop them. And if they can.
Speaking from a Nuggets fan.
Iverson fan. I love
right.
Michael Porter Jr. That's another one. He hasn't really had that oh my god game, but he can. I would not be surprised in game 6 or 7, dude drops 30 because he can, but he hasn't done it yet. We've seen Christian Brown and some of these other guys come out and they're doing things that we haven't seen, and they're helping that team. Where we talked about, hey, last year, the Nuggets lost a couple important pieces. Will they be able to do it again? Well, they filled those pieces pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of them is Aaron Gordon. That guy's a huge factor of this team, man.
Yep.
The
And just
huge
like when
factor of this team.
DiVincenzo got that big dunk, when Gordon gets a couple of those dunks, then you got the crowd lit. The energy and the momentum is on your side. That's hard to stop when you got these elite athletes at their top level of their performance. And right now, that's what you need. And home court is going to start to mean a lot more. Like we've seen, like Minnesota and Denver going opposite for those first 4. That was crazy. But I think, and I could be wrong because who knows? We've seen 20-point wins and 30-point losses the next game. It's like that's the NBA playoffs. But this is when home court advantage normally starts really meaning a lot more. Game 6s, game 7s. Can't wait for game 7s.
I can't either. Nikki, what do you think about this game, man, between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets?
I feel like this is a statement win by the Denver Nuggets because you went from being 2 down after game 2 going into game 3 last Friday. It was looking ugly. But first year, the Nuggets responded with that win right there. They looked impressive. They got to move the ball around a little bit. Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. were doing good. And you had, what's his name again? Who was it that got through the heating pad, the ice pad?
Oh, Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Jamal Murray was solid in that game, had a decent rebound. And you're like, all right, let's see what the Nuggets do from here. Then they go on to win again. And then last night, they had another impressive win. That's 3 straight. And you're like, now this is the Denver Nuggets team we saw last year starting to come to form right now. And the Timberwolves, what are they going to do to stop it? And number one, Anthony Edwards is going to have to play better than last night. Mike Conley, you'll have to see what he does. And in Cat, I mean, he was all right last night, but even he might have to step it up.
But you're right, Nick. If Ant has a half-ass game, Cat needs to have a 30-10-10 or something, for them, because those are their 2 dudes, man. And if the other guy's not doing it, you got to do it, and he didn't do it. You're right.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the league not handling Jamal Murray properly was a big factor after the pad situation? Because a lot of people say he should have been kicked. He should have been suspended a game, and if he was suspended, that probably makes it a 3-0 game.
He should have got a game.
3-0 series. So do you think the league? Do you think the league and how they handled that impacted this series?
Possibly.
1,000%, yes. 1,000%. Because if that guy does not play, I really believe that Minnesota will go up 3-0.
Yeah,
I really think we will have a different conversation.
Yeah, I feel like it's selective punishment in this case because they don't want something to interfere with one of their main series is kind of the vibe I'm getting off that right there. Because you had the one dude from, what was the series that suspended 4 games, but his team's already out.
Porter?
No, what you call it in Milwaukee?
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, Pat Beverly, but they're suspending him when his team's out because to me, it's like, okay, that's not a factor, so we'll install discipline to make it appear as if we have no tolerance. But come playoff series, we don't want anything to interrupt that. So we're going to give that a pass. Kind of what it's coming across as right here. Selective outrage, if you will. But it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Gambling thing, it feels like selective outrage.
Been saying that for a while now. I really have, and it's disgusting.
Punishment.
It's just disgusting what we have to deal with right now with this NBA league, with this basketball league.
It's not even just basketball. It's everywhere. In all types of industries, the same thing happens. Like,
Blake?
In entertainment.
You're not upset about it? That really it affected that? I agree. He should have been suspended one, but I'm not like hating the NBA for it. Should have been
It's
different.
just like it's done. It's been like this so many times. Like, when it's enough. You get what I'm saying?
But the perception that the league is interfering or dare I say fixing games.
Yeah, he should have been suspended. Let's move on. And I'm a Kentucky boy. I want him to see him play, but no. In this instance, I put my commissioner hat on and say, let's make a statement. You cannot sit on the bench and throw shit on the court without having a penalty. Money will hurt, but a game would have sent a bigger message. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all season. I mean, look at the Lakers, for example. Their free throw differential, they're one of the lowest driving teams in the league. Like, the NBA is always taking care of its, legacy teams, its, faces of the league, stuff like that. It's nothing new. So I'm not surprised he didn't get a game. Should have got a game, but he didn't then.
I mean, for what it's worth, let me play devil's advocate. Has Murray been really lighting it up?
No.
No.
It's still a factor.
But has he I mean, I see where you guys are going with thinking that game would have changed, but I don't know. I think the Nuggets have enough firepower to win without Murray. I think it still would have been 2-2.
Oh, they do. They do.
So they would have suspended him. I think the Nuggets would have still won. Murray's not playing anywhere near where he can. But just like I said with Michael Porter Jr., Game 6 comes up, Murray might drop 30 and 20 or something. You never know. Something crazy.
And that's the crazy thing. They haven't been clicking on all cylinders yet. Like you've seen spurts here and there, like a couple times against the Lakers, a couple times this series, but they haven't put it all together in multiple games back to back to back. And once they do, it's a wrap.
And if they keep doing it, who's going to stop Jokic? Does Boston have anybody? I don't think so.
No.
Does the Knicks have anybody? I don't think so. No disrespect to either team, but I don't think anybody can stop Jokic out there. There's nobody. Right. Nobody.
It's crazy. Like Bill Caduceus going to come fix he's going to fix your dishwasher and then drop 40 on you.
He's the man right now, without question. And because he's so big and he can shoot threes and pass and dunk and go to the hole and do fucking dream shakes like he did the other night. Right. Are you kidding me? He looked just like Olajuwon doing that shit.
Do kind of like some goofy stuff, waving his arm 1 minute, having fun with the fans, then go on the court and dominate.
He is like, I think in our little chat we had, he's like he's one of one. He's a unicorn. He doesn't work out like anybody else. He doesn't give a real. He doesn't have a. And I hate this. I don't want to say this to speak for him, but he doesn't have a love for the game like a lot of pros do. He's just there, but he's that good that his size and his skill is unmatched anywhere in the NBA right now.
Right.
And it's not pretty to look at. It's ugly as shit most of the time. But it gets the job done. He said he was a freak of nature in an interview last night afterwards when they asked him about his two-handed dunk down the lane. He goes, well, I am a freak of nature. He's hilarious. I mean, the dude is just there.
I mean, so 3-time MVP.
So if anybody wants to win the title this year, it goes through him. Unless something crazy happens, I think OKC is done too.
Yeah. Yeah. Boys, we got a dad joke.
Where did Captain Hook get his hook? From a second-hand store. Yeah.
On that note,
he got his hook from giving out bad jokes.
Yeah, that's right.
Get him hook him off the stage.
Bad jokes are good.
All right, so let's talk about the little draft lottery that happened a couple days ago. And here's the order from all the picks here. So here's the order, and I have a hot take from this draft order. I really believe Atlanta's going to trade it. I really believe they're going to trade it. I don't know if it's like they're going to put Trae Young in a trade scenario. I don't know if it's going to go to San Antonio, but I just have a feeling Atlanta. I don't think they're going to take Sarr because you have a Kongwu there who's getting all the.
Where was Atlanta in the list? Weren't they like 10th or something?
Yeah,
top pick. Like it was, they weren't supposed to be anywhere near getting a top pick, right?
No.
That's why I love the lottery. That's why I love the lottery. So if the Spurs or anybody else would have tanked all year, they would have done it for nothing or tried to lose.
Detroit got screwed.
Yeah.
Again.
Hey, that's what happened. That's the lottery is there for a reason, and I think it serves its purpose. And look, let's talk about the draft too. I mean, we just talked. I said it earlier. This ain't no superstar. I mean, there might be superstars out of this draft, but this ain't no, top to bottom 5 NBA All-Stars coming out right off the bat. There's a ton of foreigners. There's a lot of guys that are freshmen coming out that need seasoning. So, I mean, this is going to be like, I don't want to compare it to a different sport, but this year's NFL draft, I think someone said it that a lot
NFL.
in the NFL draft this year, a lot of teams.
I
A
was
lot of
like, wait,
teams
we're talking
went for
about. I was
what-
confused.
In the NFL draft this year, a lot of teams went for what they needed other than best player. In this scenario, I think you're going to see a lot more of that here, where you might see like, why did that guy go 5th? Because they need that type of guy other than whoever is the best out there. Because there are no superstars. There's guys who could eventually be superstars in this draft, but it's going to be very interesting. And hot take, as well as I go up and down with this, Bronny gets drafted. I didn't think so a couple weeks ago, but now I think.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Brownie later. He just had a good day at the combine again today. So, and by the way, the Spurs are set for the future right now. They really are.
Zach Edey.
Well, I saw one mock draft that had them taking
Who?
Jokic at 4th and then 8th taking Dillingham, getting 2 point guards. And normally I would have a problem with that.
Get some guards to help Wemby. I feel like Spurs, you got to keep that top 5, at least the top 5 pick, and get a guard to help Wemby.
Because Topic is ready now, Dillingham might need a year or two. So I normally would have a problem with someone in the top 10 picking 2 point guards, but in this scenario, I still think that the Spurs need to go out and get a veteran all-star, someone too. To
I think they might if they get Trae Young. If they get Trae Young, I think it's over. Well, not over, but
that doesn't move the needle at all. He hasn't done anything in Atlanta with a better team. What's he gonna do in San Antonio with a worse roster?
It got be able to. No, not just that. To space the floor, help Wemby. Who was the point guard last year? Trae Young averages a double-double. He does that, Pat. I will give him that. But look, when you have a freaking nature like Wemby down low, Trae Young can just fire that thing. Can just fire it. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, I feel like.
It'll be an interesting draft. Kind of different, but still interesting.
Yeah, they'll score more points, but then they'll give up, just as many or even more on the opposite. Because Trae doesn't play defense.
Wembanyama was second in Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. I think they'll be fine if they get a couple Defensive Player of the Year. If they get a couple defensive pieces there, I think they'll be fine.
Defensive Player of the Year in their team gives up what, 150 a game? Like, yeah, I'm not impressed.
I mean, look at Rudy Gobert this year. He's getting schooled now. He's not looking like a Defensive Player of the Year. Honestly, he shouldn't have gotten it. Honestly, he shouldn't have gotten it. It's his 4th one.
Who has stopped Joker all season? Nobody, really.
Exactly my point. That's where the voter fatigue comes in for the Defensive Player of the Year. Like, you're telling me Wembanyama, stats is better than Rudy Gobert by far when you're going one by one. It's highlight after highlight block. He had like what? Didn't he have a 10-block game this year? He had.
And his team still lost. His team still lost the game. Point of defense and stopped other guys from scoring.
Because he's on one of the worst teams in the league. He can't transform the team overnight. You need other players around him, and that's what the Spurs are doing with Popovich. I feel like that coach right there is gonna. It's the Duncan and Robinson again. They just need a better power forward.
Yep.
They just need better power forward.
Hey, we'll see though. But now we're also in a more guard-friendly era too. So would it have the same effect?
We are in guard, and we are. I agree with that. And they still have. Didn't they have?
Victor, who's your mama?
Oh, I'm like, what the hell? I was like, wait. I was looking at the draft.
His commercial parody back.
I was at the draft. I was looking at the draft lottery on another tab, and I'm like, huh? I was like, oh, okay.
TJ, who's your mama? TJ Hashmanzili.
Did you hear what Rasheed Wallace called him?
No.
Wamba Wamba.
Really?
On ESPN, he goes, well, when you talk about Wamba Wamba, I was like, wow, he called him Wamba Wamba.
Wamba Wamba. Damn.
Oh, my God.
At least say the guy's name right.
Victor, we be on your mama.
Duncan Robinson, there's one of the Heat getting paid $50 million. What?
Duncan Robinson.
Not Duncan and Robinson. Duncan Robinson. I see what you did there, Spongy.
Oh, I was like, huh?
Right over
But,
doesn't take much to get over your head.
So I want to ask Rios, who do you want the Rockets to take with the number 3? Do you see him trading it too?
There've been reports that they might move it, but if they stay pat, they're probably going after Reed Shepherd because they need a 3-point shooter. And he's like I said it off air. It's basically 3-and-D guys what they need on their roster.
What cool.
Coach, did you eat a gummy or something?
No, it's just Houston at number 3. When I hear it, I just go Brooklyn.
NYG, thank you, man. We appreciate the pick.
a couple of the mocks, and I want Rios' take on this. Have you guys taken Reed Shepherd? I mean, do you like that? You know, he is, like I said, a 3-and-D guy, and he's been there. He's not a rookie. He hasn't been there for a few years. What do you think about Reed fitting in with your team?
Yeah, I think we definitely need a guy like that on the second unit because once the second unit comes out, the defensive rating goes through the floor. It gets pretty bad. So having a guy out there with that second unit will definitely help them in those closer games. That way we don't get a lot of games where they'll basically lose the lead in the third quarter and it's over at that point. So having a guy like that can knock some threes, play defense, will keep us in games once the starters come back in. Still, a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I can see that. So, Nikki, what about our Sixers, man? What do you have to say about that with the draft pick? We have the 16th pick.
We better hope for another Tyrese Maxey type steal, but I don't think that's going to happen again.
Khalil Indiana. That's the one I'm seeing.
Oh, you want him?
That's the one I'm seeing in mocks a lot going to Philly. Khalil Ware. He's a 7-footer.
I've been seeing him.
He's only 20.
I've been seeing him. I've been seeing Jared McCain. I've been seeing a lot of these guys. But I think Daryl Morey, if you look at the history, he trades those first-round picks. Yeah. And now the Sixers are favored for Paul George. Whoopee!
Also at 16, too, you got to wait and see who might fall. Because like Rios just said, at 3, someone to come off the bench, which is totally cool because he could be a starter in the future. So we're looking at who might fall to the 15s, the 16s, the 17s. And here's the real. I want to know, are we getting to the Bronny yet? Because I got a question I want everyone to know about.
All right, let's talk about Bronny. That was later on. Let's just talk about it.
My question is to you guys. Here's what I'm thinking. My mind's going crazy. 2 weeks ago, I would have said he needs to come back, go play for Duquesne, go play for someone else again, get another year of experience. He did his first real interview saying he doesn't really care if he plays with his dad or not, but he said my dad might have mentioned it a few times. I said, now with Bronny, I mean, and I take the combine for what it's worth. You're not playing a game. You're just doing, yes, it's good to jump high. It's good to run fast, but you don't have defense on you. He's 6'1". He's listed 6'4" his entire career. He's 6'1". So how many 6'1" players are like, nowadays we got these 6'9" point guards out there, 6'8" point guards. At 6'1", he better have something special at 6'1" to be able to play in the NBA at 6'1". Now, at the other side of the coin, Bronny has talent. He can shoot the lights out when he hits, but he didn't really show much at USC because he didn't get the opportunity. Here's my question. I really think that if the Lakers have the opportunity, they're going to pick him. And they're going to put him with his dad for a year. And LeBron wants to play 23 years, which is 2 more years. My question would be, what if you're the team right before the Lakers, say second round? Don't you think the Lakers would probably overpay if they want him to get Bronny on the team just for this marketing ploy? Could you guys see other team right before the Lakers take Bronny in hopes to get more from the Lakers to get him there?
There's rumors that actually Dallas Mavericks are interested in him. Like the Mavericks. Could you imagine that?
I still think he needs another year in college, but it really looks like he's getting drafted. I think the Lakers are going to go in round 2 and pick him. But if you're, say, fucking Clippers or something, I don't know, and you're 2 picks before, do you call the Lakers up and say, hey, we're going to pick Bronny. What are you going to give for us? We'll give you 2 other picks and 1 next year or something. Even if it's just a pick or something. A team can play that game if the Lakers show their hand and say, we're picking Bronny, or you really think they are. That's where I'm going at it. Still think the dude doesn't deserve to be drafted.
No, I agree with Blaze. He needs to go back to school. He's not ready for the NBA.
Damn it,
Especially at
Jimmy.
6'1".
His brother's better.
Yeah, he's taller too. I think he's like 6'6" or 6'5", isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because to put the context,
Go ahead.
Iverson was 6. Yeah, Iverson was 6'1", but Iverson was special. I
You
don't
gotta
see
be
that
special
from
at
Bronny.
6'1", especially nowadays.
Didn't they say the same thing about Jalen Brunson?
They say the same thing about Maxey.
A lot of people. I'm just saying.
I get it. I get what you're saying. As far as going back to college, screw it. Just put him in the G League for a year if that's the case. I mean,
I think that's
That's
where
true.
he's going.
I get where you're going because I am of the mindset of once they graduate high school, treat them like any other adult. Don't say they need to or they should or you're forcing them. I understand that's the rules of the game. I get it. But you know what? If they want to go to the G League, let them go to the G League and develop there.
But I really
they-
liked hearing Bronny say, I don't want to be LeBron
Yes,
James Jr. I want to be Bronny James. I want to be my
Yes.
own man. So like maybe part of him doesn't want to play with his dad.
No, that I agree with.
You
I
know
don't
what I
think
mean?
he
Like-
wants to play with his dad because he doesn't want to be showed favoritism. He wants to set his own narrative. So, and that's fine. I agree with that. As far as the strategy of other teams and, because of LeBron James and all this and that, you're right. They will try and do that. And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Bronny James. You could have in any sport the number 2 overall draft pick, and somebody will come up and say well, I'm such and such, I can get the number 1 overall draft pick. What are you going to give me for the number 2? Because I really don't want to pay that much, but I'll go up, or vice versa. I get
Right.
it. That's the business. GMs are smart enough to know I smell crap when I smell it. And you know what? If they want to go for it, they go for it. And who's to say somebody doesn't move up 3 spots in front of the Lakers?
And I like Bronny. I think he has a good head on his shoulders. I think he's very mature for his age. And you're finally going to get to see more of it because you're going to get him in interviews and get him as him now. And when I talked to him 5 years ago at the playground, he already seemed like an adult more than some kid that thinks he's the shit because LeBron's his dad. I mean, he really wants to make a name for himself. And I like that. There's still nothing. I mean, he has the pedigree. He really does. You can't argue with that. So who's to say he doesn't, grow 3 more inches in the next couple of years and really turn into something special? He can still happen, but I don't know. A lot of people are weighing too much on the combine.
He wants to be like
he's the shit. Look, he got good at the
But
combine.
They do that with everyone. Look at what look what they're doing with Zach Edey. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Ooh, but Zach Edey, I didn't know he could hit like 10 threes in a row and just sit out there, whip, 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 whip. That's like Jokic Jr. I saw him.
And Blaze, I've seen video of Mitchell Robinson hitting 3-pointers when there's nobody. You know better than anybody. When
Mitchell
there's
Robinson
nobody.
got skills. He's smooth.
I
Zach
know what
Edey
I'm-
is smooth.
No,
Zach
what I'm
Edey's awkward as
saying.
shit.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when there's nobody on you, you can hit them a little bit more.
Yeah. But he's not
It's-
projected to go till late second. Edey.
I've seen there's GMs who
some
say
late
he's a
first.
lottery pick.
Yeah. So he could
So
go anywhere from
he-
top 10 to second round.
And that's the point about the combine. It's like that with the NFL. The NFL combine is the same exact thing. Who
I
falls
like
in love
it.
with who?
It's just, I think sometimes they just put too much weight on it. I think the combines are very important because you get to see these players individually try to prove that they have the skills. So I don't have a problem with it, but I just think some people put too much weight on the combine where, like you said, put him in the G League for a year. Let's see how he does. I would rather see that than some team take a flyer on him in the second round just for whatever fucking reason. I don't even.
But no matter what, you can't. As far as Bronny James, you can't control what another team does. Once you get drafted, wherever you get drafted, you go in there, just put your head down and go to work.
Now,
Plain
does he
simple.
have the right to say no? I don't want to play for that team, though.
No.
If he gets drafted, can he do that and go back to college?
Oh no! One,
Nah.
Once you're drafted, you're drafted.
Yeah.
Okay, so or he could say no, I'm going to the G League. I don't know. See, I don't know the.
No, once you're drafted in the NFL, I think the only thing I can think of is they can go overseas, but that team still retains his rights.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Fair. It's going to be interesting. I'm rooting for him. Trust, I'm rooting for him.
I think we all are, yeah.
At the same time, I'm rooting for what I heard last night from him. I'm glad to hear that. I don't want to hear, well, if I end up on my dad's team, I do. No, he said, I don't know. I want to make a name for myself. And I loved hearing him say that. Yeah. Now, he's been under the microscope since he was this big, since he was inside of LeBron James still. He was in the microscope. As soon as his wife was pregnant, they were saying, is it going to be a boy? Is he going to play in the NBA? Will he be LeBron James too? So he's been under that microscope his entire life. To see someone overcome, even though they're in that, is very impressive.
They put so much he's got all the weight of the world on his back.
But he's not the same type of player as LeBron either, from what I've seen. He's a little different.
Right. He's always going to have this weight on his. Don't forget, his name technically is LeBron James Jr.
Yeah.
So, and as soon as he plays, if he has a bad game, the fans are going to crap. The other team's fans are going to dog him, and I think he's prepared for that. I think he's ready for it.
Yeah,
he ought to.
I mean, he wants to be
here in my hometown when he was playing in some of these little summer league games. Because they're like, "Oh, you're LeBron's kid. You think you're the shit." Every time he missed a shot, they cheered.
Yeah, he wants to be a guy he wants to be a player like Derek White, Drew Holiday, that can work hard and provide a good defense and shoot the ball. That's basically it. And I love Derek White. I love his game. So if Bronny can turn out to be something like that, I'm for it. Definitely for it.
It's going to be interesting.
Yep. And then here is something I've been thinking about for a while now, and it is like people discrediting wins for injuries. Like let's say the Sixers are playing the Knicks, right? The Knicks are down a couple players, right? And the Sixers
I got you.
And the Sixers win, and then then someone will be like, "See, you didn't beat them at their full strength." I mean, like, we only play the people in front of us. Sixers only play the people in front of us. So
it's always the same thing.
Next man up. Can't control injuries. Bottom line. It's part of the game. People get hurt.
In every sport.
In every freaking sport.
Look at the player that I can't stand the most in football. Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and we got Tom Brady.
The biggest domino
never know
in football outside the AFL-NFL merger.
You never know when someone gets hurt, and then that dude that took over for him is a brand new superstar someday because he finally got that opportunity. So that's where I'm at. They're all professionals. They're all at the top level of their game in the world, no matter if they were drafted last, not drafted, G League. These are the best players in the world. So whether the starter gets hurt, your star gets hurt, that's why it's called a team game. You got to have a team.
I'll say this, Mitch. Yes, they do discredit wins because of injuries. You're looking at it right now between the Pacers and the Knicks. There are Pacers fans saying, well, we don't have such and such. Look at what the Knicks are doing. And then you have Knicks fans say, well, we're down four players, 3 of them starters. Yeah. Our whole daggone backcourt. I mean, our front court. Yeah. So yes, people are going to discredit it because they're going to skew things for their own personal narrative. Plain and simple. The bottom line is, as Wade said, next man up. You go out there, you're in the pros for a reason. Mm-hmm. You really are. You are better than every last average to above average college and Power 5 college basketball players. You really are. So you have a skill set. A lot of them just need an opportunity. So now when you get the opportunity, capitalize. I mean, I'll go back to the Knicks. Alec Burke. Alec Burke has been sitting for the longest while in these last few games, he's been producing. Now he's a veteran guy, but the bottom line is he was sitting because there were guys in front of him and he has the opportunity. And he's telling Tibbs, you better play me if you want to win. And that goes to any player. Look, you get the opportunity, you go out there and produce. As a coach, I don't look at injuries all the time and say, oh, well, my starting quarterback is out, so we can't play the game. No, I look at the backup quarterback and I say, this is what I'm going to do. I know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. I'm going to gear the game plan towards that, but I need you to produce. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. A man goes down, and the Knicks are proving that. Next man up.
Injuries are never an excuse, but at the same time, say, and heaven forbid, I'm never wishing this upon anybody, but Jokic falls down tomorrow night, breaks his wrist. He's done for the year. He's gone. And the Wolves come back and win Game 7 in Denver, and they move on. You know everyone's going to say, well, you wouldn't have beat us if we had Jokic. No shit. But guess what? The fact is, shit happens. If someone gets hurt, you deal with the consequences. Why complain about it? Why bitch about it? Or why make it the narrative? The narrative should be, can that be a team without one of their pieces, no matter who that piece is? Third string, first string, no matter what.
But that also goes into your coaching, because now your coaching staff should look and say, well, we don't have such and such, so let's change our game plan and our strategies. Yeah, the other team knows that, and they're going to try and do certain things, but you can adjust your strategies to do whatever you need to do.
And as a coach, that should be a game plan for the entire season. Tell me that if I was an NBA coach, in my game book, I have this in case our center gets hurt. This is our game plan in case our starting power forward gets hurt. Be prepared for it. Have a game plan. We're going to go a small ball if this guy gets hurt, or we're going to go zone more if this guy gets hurt, or we're going to do, I think these coaches, we're not giving them as much credit because we don't see all the X's and O's and everything. If I'm at the beginning of the season, I'm thinking, I'm Nick Nurse. Would I really go willy-nilly if Embiid gets hurt, or do I set up a game plan at the beginning of the year to say A, B, C, or D is out? What are we going to do to overcome that? That's professionalism to me as coaches. They got to be prepared and ready for it.
Yeah, and something we didn't really see Nick Nurse do well.
It was an example, Arku. Worry about your team because they're on the shit list right now, about to be ousted.
And he's going to say he's a Mavericks fan too.
Oh, gosh.
You were saying, Nikki?
Yeah, that's something Nick Nurse did not do well this first time with Embiid.
No, so he may not have had that game plan like he should have if the big guy goes down. You're right. It didn't seem like it. But those coaches should. They should be prepared for that. They should be prepared for injuries and all that stuff throughout the year.
Always.
If this happens, if that happens. Have 6 different fucking playbooks if you got to.
Right.
This is the big leagues, man. This ain't it's the big leagues. Be prepared if that shit happens. So then you can't say, oh, well, what if, say, hey, I had this game plan ready if that happened. Eat my ass. There. Let's go. Move on. What was that? You should have your camera on.
I didn't like.
You should have your camera on if you're doing that there, buddy. Pause.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Funny. Yeah.
You're right. I'm not counting them out, RQ. I'm not counting them out. I'm just saying they look like they're on the way out. They're showing their inexperience right now.
You've seen it with all these young teams. They haven't been here before, and the lights are getting a little too bright.
Yep. And I forgot Butterfly is a Mavericks fan. Forgot about that. And yeah, the Phoenix Suns just got Mike Budenholzer for a 5-year, $50+ million deal as their head coach after letting go Frank Vogel. Was this a panic move? Because I feel like it was a panic move.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean,
hiring
like
him
right away. Like, oh, he's here. Boom. Let's get him.
It seems like they had him in the back pocket just in case.
Bro, that was done. That was in
Arizona too, so he's close to home.
Coach is going to go ahead.
And that wasn't a panic move. They had they had a contract already set up before they fired Vogel.
Yeah,
they had that done. You fire Vogel one day, and the next day you hire a coach, and you have the contract already done.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Those contracts.
That happened at my job earlier. They fired the GM months ago, and they had a new GM in like that. Like that's obvious they had that planned out.
Yeah.
But those contracts take weeks to put together. All the legal work and all that, it takes weeks. You don't put it together overnight.
I mean, I don't fault them. At the end of the year, the Suns weren't doing anything they should have been. They were ready to make the change. So they, behind the scenes, they were getting their guy ready, hoping he was available, and they got rid of this guy, and it did happen. Like, boom, you got a new coach already. How you doing? So it does seem like just like Coach says that they had that in the works for a while, and I don't see any problem with that at all.
Yeah, since worked out, I'll give him that.
Now send KD to Philly.
Wait, you actually want him now?
I've always loved KD. He just needs to be in the right situation.
I don't know. I'm not
Be very
getting into that.
expensive, but I'm a KD fan. That's all.
Yeah,
I was a Suns fan at the beginning of the year. I was hyping up TRL. I'm going, the only problem I had was Bradley Beal's not a megastar to me. He's way overpaid now. He's a star. He is not elite, in my opinion. Bradley Beal is a great player. He is not worth what they paid him in hopes to be a big three. It didn't work. But
yeah.
I don't blame Booker or KD. There's a lot of we go back to injuries with those guys too, but
yeah. And actually, we were talking about Karl Anthony Towns earlier, and I just want to ask, is he overrated now? Because he's not really stepping up as of right now.
we
And
said it
Damian,
earlier. When Ant has a bad game, he needs to have a great game if they're going to get any further, and he didn't.
right.
So I guess I would be agreeing with you. He's not performing the way he could. At the beginning of the year, what was our discussion? Hand the reins over to Ant, and it looked like he was. But Cat still needs to be the guy that can blow up if Ant isn't performing at the top level. Like when he started seeing Ant not be able to get out of those double teams or getting free for open shots as much or be able to drive the way he was, Cat should have tried to take that game over, and we didn't see that. So I agree. He's not overrated or anything. He just didn't play up to what he could when he should have, in my opinion.
I mean, he's getting the time right now, and that you were up 2-0, and now you're down 3-2. So Cat's got to do something here. He's got to do something in this next game.
If it's going to go to 7, Cat and we're going to have a big game.
And then don't forget the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, and they'll be at home, so I think that might go 7. I think they can squeak that out and push it this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I told Mitch yesterday, I said, I want nothing but game 7s the rest of the way. I think the Cavs are done, but I mean, Eastern, Western Finals and the Finals, I want game 7. I'm greedy. I want as much hoops as we can get before we're done with it. And if there's a game 7 out there, I really want to be a part of whoever's streaming it because I love game 7s.
Yep. I was thinking about streaming the game tonight. I don't know yet.
And the intensity level that we're at right now in these playoffs, seeing these game 5s, that's that pivotal spot, man. You win game 5, most of the time you win the series. And and right now where we're at, these games, some of them we see the 20-point, 30-point games, but there's still intensity, man. There's some intense basketball going on. This is the hoops that I love. This is the hoops that I wish if we had a 50-game season, we would get more throughout the season, but money will never get it. Whole nother conversation.
No. And actually, I want to bring this up from Damian real quick. Frank Vogel was done dirty. Well, he got swept. What do you want him to do? He wasn't done dirty. He was just swept.
He wasn't able to coach that team well enough anywhere near where they should have been. So,
yeah.
And
maybe he deserved to get done
now
dirty.
The Suns have gone through 2 head coaches in 2 years after losing. Well, what are they going to do with Coach Bud?
I think KD had like a different coach for the last 6 years or something crazy like that. I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Gotta wonder if KD is a big factor in this, similar to LeBron. We give LeBron flack for getting rid of coaches. What about KD?
KD's time might be up. He might not be the KD he used to be anymore. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's an anomaly. Suns, I feel bad for him.
Well, for the Suns, it's just bad roster construction. There's only so much you can do as a coach if you don't have the right pieces in place. Like, you can't fit a square peg into a circle. Like, he did what he could. Sure, it wasn't the right guy for the job. At the same time, like, I don't think any coach is with the way that team is constructed.
Yeah,
because you basically have a big 2, and then you got a guy that's all-star level player being paid like a max level player, and then you have 0 depth after that.
True, and it showed late in the season. They couldn't put it together. There you have it. Not going to be the last coach we see change. There'll be 4 or 5 coaching changes, I'm sure, in the offseason.
Always
crazy. Not like it used to be.
Oh, don't even get me started on Glenn Rivers again.
Oh, geez.
Don't even get me started. But, Coach, what's your opinions on Karl Anthony Towns? Is he overrated?
No.
Okay, then.
I think now we're starting to see that Anthony Edwards is the true face of the team, and I think people now finally put Cat in his proper perspective. I think a few years ago he was overrated, but now I think that Anthony Edwards is taking over. People realize, okay, Cat's the number 2 guy on the team, not the number 1 guy we thought he was.
But he's not really stepping up right now. So I
They
can't
got to
really.
figure. And the Nuggets seem to have the number.
What did he
with
do
it.
last night? Wait a
That's
minute.
also a team thing. You can partially blame Cat, but you can also look at the team too. They're not adjusting.
Yeah,
Because they were talking about it last night, where they said when he was on Jokic wasn't producing as much. He produced when he went up against Gobert last night.
Yep.
So
Doesn't make sense, but it does make sense.
They're
They're both two huge defensive players, and if one doesn't do it well, why not the other? But you're right. You're right. It seemed like Cat was
last night.
tough.
Last night, Cat had
I don't know.
23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, was 10 of 19, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 2 steals, 2 turnovers. Now, I mean, he was a minus 17, but so the whole starting lineup was. But he was 10 of 19.
Yeah, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. In my opinion, if Cat is going to try to take over and make up for Ant not playing as well, he's taking it to the bucket more, and he has like.
But that's also a product of the coaching staff and their philosophy. And because right now most of the time they have him outside, and you want Ant to take and if Ant is not producing, do they now put the ball into his hands, or do they continue to force feed Ant to, in a sense, produce? And I think that's what it was.
I don't fault that at all either, because Cat.
I mean, 10 of 19. 10 of 19 tells me he's producing. If we're going to go just on scoring, he was 10 of 19 from the floor. 2 for 5 from 3. Okay, but he's 40% from 3-pointer. So offensively, he was producing. And everyone said when he did guard Jokic, not a lot, but when he did, Jokic wasn't scoring on him. So how can we sit here and say he wasn't producing yesterday when everything is saying he did and the rest of the team didn't? Now, if you want to say the series, I'm not gonna debate the series. I'm only going off of.
Yeah, I was just talking about the whole series as a whole. As a whole, I was talking about the whole series.
But you also had Ant Edwards stepping up, which kind of stagnates what he needed to do. But I get what you're saying. I get where you're going. See, to me, it's not just Cat. It's the whole team for these last 3 games. Because the first 2 games, we were all in love, and Denver is done, and the Wolves are rising. Nobody was saying, is Cat not producing? But now, because they're on the 2-game losing streak, 3-game losing streak, and even Anthony Edwards said it. He said it's on him. He needs to step up and he needs to play better. But how can we fault and put it all on Cat and say, well, not put it all on Cat, but say he needs to step up when your superstar is saying it's on him. He's not playing well.
He's right. It's gonna be game 6 is gonna be very interesting because you're at home. You know that they made changes to shut down your star, and it worked. 18-9 is good, but Ant Edwards, if you're gonna be that guy, you got to overcome that, and it's not his fault. They did a great job defensively, and you could. But here's the thing with Ant, he didn't look frustrated, he didn't look angry, he didn't look upset, and his post-game press conference was phenomenal to handle that situation where I think they do win game 6 and we go 7. And that is where do we see the arrival at Ant? Can Ant score 40 and have them beat the Nuggets at home one more time? That's when we'll see game 7.
And by the way, we got a stupid comment from Damien. In my opinion, Cat is Embiid 2.0. Good in the season, poop in the playoffs. Embiid is injured and he still put up the most points. He's top 5 in scoring still.
And Cat hasn't been poop in the playoffs. He's been very consistent, but it's here. Well, when Ant is here, Cat needs to be up here. And he just moved up a little. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take with your 2 best players, and it just didn't work out the last game.
I really think last night's game was a product of Mike Conley not being there. Because Ant had to take control, the point guard play and everything, and it was way too much. And like you said, Denver did a great job defensively, where if you had Conley takes control, and it's just different. He's also a veteran. He's a veteran, so he's been there. So that to me is the whole thing, and that's where, because that's the other thing. They don't have him play point forward,
No,
like Denver does with Jokic. Cat can bring it up on occasion, but he's not a facilitator. So his role is totally different. He needs Conley to set him up to be successful.
Nuggets offense is going completely through Jokic right now. And they are handing it over to the MVP, and rightfully so. He's doing it, and good for them. I mean, it's what can you say? In my opinion, though, I think the way the Nuggets played last night with Conley, it's still close, but the Nuggets still win. I think the Nuggets still win. But it would have been down to like a buzzer shot, or they had to score at the end, because Conley is that big of a difference. You miss that leadership, and Ant maybe still has a little bit to go before he is elite. Maybe let's be real here.
True, fair.
And that's what we'll talk. If the Nuggets win Game 6, that will be the talk in the offseason. Can Ant overcome and be that guy who we saw in Games 1 and 2? That's a good test for someone like him too, man. It's not bad. We'll see.
Exactly.
Gotta wait and see on that one. But yeah, and then Jokic, right? He won 3 out of 4 MVPs. Is this when voter fatigue is going to get into play? Do you really
No, I think the voters, they know they're focused on voting for that season. They're not. Oh, this guy's won 3. Oh, give it to him again. No, I don't. There's no. I don't believe in voter fatigue.
I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if Embiid did not get injured, it would have been his. I'm just saying.
Second half of it would have been very. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm a Sixer fan, but it would have really been determined on what he would have done if he was on the floor. Second half.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hand it to Embiid back to back. I think the way Jokic played all year long as the champion, like I said, the bullseye wasn't really on them last year. This year was on them the whole fucking year, and they did the same damn thing. They had more wins this year than last year, didn't they, in a regular season? I think they had more wins this year.
Yep.
That says a lot to me, because everyone's shooting for that. I want to beat the champs from last year, knock them out. And that's, I think, what Minnesota came in fired up in this series, but now they brought back down to earth. It's going to be 6. It's going to be very interesting. And this is my favorite. I said it when we saw these two teams getting matched up, that this is going to be a really good series. We've got it so far. We'll see if it goes to 7.
I think it will go to 7, but yeah, SGA, I don't know if he got robbed, but he was definitely in the conversation.
I think he should be happy that he was in the conversation. Did he get them where they were based on his performance all year? Yes. Was he if you take SGA out of that team, I still think they're good. I don't think
they're still good, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's as MVP as Jokic is MVP. You take Jokic off of that team, it's completely different. That dude's is a different animal. Jokic is a different animal.
What's your criteria for MVP then?
The best player in the league.
The best player in the league, not on the team. Because you just said if you take him off the team, that's a different team.
Most valuable player. I'm taking that literally.
Okay, if you're going to take that literally, then I'm sorry. I'm going to be a homer.
Valuable.
You take Brunson off of the Knicks. The Knicks are no way near where they are. If you're going to go by that,
the same thing for Jokic. You can say the same thing for both guys. So,
but they
Brunson
also
should just
have,
be happy he's in the conversation with Jokic.
No. The reason why I say that, you still have Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a superstar. The Knicks have no one outside of him. You can argue Julius Randle.
Listen, here's the NBA. Here's Jokic right now. Here's the entire NBA. Here's Jokic. He's above everybody right now.
I don't put him that far above everyone. I don't. He's good. If you want to say this is the NBA, I'll say he's here. If it's going up here,
who's stopping him? Who's stopping him?
Okay,
who's stopping him on the?
And who's he going to stop? Who's he going to stop?
Who's stopping Jokic from your team?
And who is he going to stop? If you're going to give me that argument, I'm giving you the same argument. If you're going to tell me he can't be stopped, who is he stopping? Because if you put him and Embiid 1-on-1 playing each other, they're both going to get theirs. So Embiid, because you're saying he's that far above Embiid, I'm saying to you, no, he's not.
No, he's not. NBA. Jokic is above everybody in the NBA right now. He is the MVP. He proved it to me all year as a champ with the bullseye on him. better than last year. He's gotten
man,
better than last year.
Mitch knows. I said it. If Embiid doesn't get hurt, he's the MVP to me.
Let me say this though, and I love SGA. I'm a Kentucky guy. By what you're saying, Jokic, Brunson should have been second in MVP voting. My opinion. SGA should have been third. Because I'm agreeing with you. Brunson is that important to the Knicks. Is SGA that? He is that important. Don't get me wrong. He's a superstar. I love him.
No, like
exactly.
You pull SGA out, yes. No,
Brunson is that more important than SGA is to his team. So the way you're saying that you take Brunson out, it's a whole different team. I totally agree. And we've seen that through Brunson all year.
But it's the same thing with Embiid too.
You
take Embiid out of there.
We're not in it no more, so I have
no. But what I'm saying is based on your argument. It's already been proven. Maxey's good, but he's not ready to hold.
Yet. Nope.
Yeah, and that's my point. And that's my point. So and that's why I say, because initially you said the league is here, and you went Embiid is up here, and that's why I said if you look, I said it's.
I got long arms. I'm sorry.
I got long arm too, brother.
I just say Jokic is above everybody else.
He's above everyone else.
And I think Brunson should have been second in the voting because he was that important to your team.
You know I'm not going to argue there.
I know I'm not. But, I mean, that's why I'm not really totally disagreeing with you, but I really think until someone proves that they can defeat Jokic and these Nuggets.
But that's the point. Jokic and the Nuggets.
Yeah, because it's a great team. I mean, they have bench, they have shooters, they have defense, they have X factor, they have everything.
I kept hearing they don't have a bench this year. And once you go past their starting five, their bench because they lost
Brown. He looked really good. Jackson's been nice as a role player.
Jackson hasn't been playing a lot of minutes.
Now, because of their starting five, we don't need bench players scoring 20. Nuggets just need role players off the bench, and they're doing it. Watson's the only one I wish would be performing more. He hasn't. Mm-hmm. But Holiday, Jackson, and Braun have been valuable people through these playoffs. They've had very important. So that's their whole team. They only have 9.
And that's the point. That's the point. Yeah. Where, if you look at OKC, they have what? It seems like they have 100 players. So,
I mean, at this point, that's the finals I want to see. Knicks Nuggets. At this point, that's the finals I want to see. Because to me, like we just stated, Jokic and Brunson have been the most dominant players all year, consistently for most of the year. So I want to see those two players, because then you got a guard and a big guy. Each team is different, a different type of dynamic of team. Mm-hmm. And can the tenacity and the toughness of the Knicks overcome the abilities of the Nuggets? That would be amazing finals, in my opinion. We'll see.
I get you where you're going.
I love debating with Coach. This is always so fun. That's why I love this. It's always
what about Luke? Hold on. What about Luka?
I like what what Kyrie has been doing.
Right? Yeah.
Luka is too much ISO to me, and he's
that's fair.
I don't know. It just seems like sometimes their offense and their whole team gets stagnant with him, where he's just trying to do the highlight stuff and be the superstar, and then I don't know. His game it's just I don't know. It's just
it's James Harden dribbling the basketball.
Thank you.
The back three.
Thank you, Riz. Thank you. Yes. Perfect. Yeah, it's just, like I love Jokic, especially centers that can facilitate, and they don't just have to be a scorer. They could be the facilitator. They can do certain things like Mitch. You speak on Hartenstein because of every other thing that he does outside of scoring. Mm-hmm. And those are things that I love about seeing from the centers, especially in today's game, where everything is either dunks or 3 points, where you have a center who can play the high post and he looks for the backdoor cuts. He puts the bounce pass perfectly where even little guards can get it right into their hands and go up for a layup if need be. So
handful of Aaron Gordon's points were because Jokic put that passes right where they needed to be, man. His passing is phenomenal. It reminds me of old Sabonis back in the day, a big man, attracting defense, and then behind the back bounce pass, little shuffle, weird. And it's phenomenal. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, he is very underrated.
That's the guy I want. Can I have him, Coach?
Can I have Maxey?
No.
No.
There's your answer.
With the Mavericks, I think that we could talk about Irving and Doncic all we want, but I think Gafford has stepped up and PJ Washington has stepped up a lot.
Yeah.
Those two players have really helped that team become a team instead of just those two.
Yep.
I hope that series goes 7 as well.
I think that will go 7. I don't know who I got in that series, but yeah, let's go over predictions for tonight, and that is the Cavaliers versus Celtics at Boston. I'm not going to stream this game tonight. I'm taking it easy.
Series over.
Boston.
I got Boston. No
All right.
Mitchell.
Mitchell's not playing either, is he? Right?
No.
Mitchell's out. It's a wrap.
Now, let me throw this out there while we got Mitchell on our mind. Any of you guys see him? Did any of you guys see? Did any of you guys see Donovan Mitchell playing somewhere else next year?
He's gone.
Okay. Is he
Where?
traded somewhere? Yeah, I think he's probably traded. If
He's a
he does
traded
not
guy.
pick up if he doesn't pick up the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them either because right now they can get a lot for him.
Yeah, but
But
did you see
weird.
LeBron sitting courtside? Ooh, I wonder what that could be.
Oh boy.
Mitch, he's from Cleveland. He's from
I-
Ohio.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But what
he's
did Blaze?
I
What did he
know.
do the last time with Miami, where he went to watch Zagonis?
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit, and the next thing you know, the next year he's in Cleveland. So that's that's all I kept hearing the conspiracy theories, and I was just like, oh, really? I didn't even realize that. So it's just like, But yeah, it's the Spider. I mean, yeah, I do honestly think I see him somewhere else. I think he's going to get traded, especially how they play today and what's the end result. If they get totally annihilated, I think he's going to want to be out. Where I would say the top 2 teams are going to be LA and probably Brooklyn.
I heard LA, Brooklyn,
I heard Philly.
and LA. I heard both LAs and Brooklyn are the names that I've heard with his name out there. Possibilities.
I heard-
For you to
heard-
get Spider
I mean-
Mitchell, if Mitch, for you to get Spider Mitchell, that means you're giving up Maxey.
I
I'm telling
know.
you now.
I know.
Yeah, we're not. No.
I know.
No.
I know that. Halftime was texting me earlier. I was like, "Can we get Donovan Mitchell?" I'm like, "In a trade, yes." Then he goes, "Okay, Maxey, Mitchell, Butler." I'm like, "That makes no sense." I'm like, "That makes no sense."
No shit, Arku. All right, move on.
All right, Dallas Thunder. Who you guys got? It's in Oklahoma.
These are both game 5s. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Thunder.
Dallas.
Thundercats.
I think the Celtics are going to win by like 30, but a Mavericks Thunder game probably come down to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go the Thunder. But it's gonna be close.
I'm going Dallas. I'm
This
going
is
Dallas here.
Dallas wins. They'll win the series at home next game. They could win the series
Yeah.
at home the next game if they win. So this is it. This is
Yeah.
a huge game. That game is humongous for those two teams. Can the Thunder prove they're one of the best teams in the league as they were all year in the playoffs? Can the Mavericks get that win away so they can put it away at home the next game? That's going to be a hell of a game.
Yep. So, all right. So thank you.
Mitch, I'm gonna flip it instead of predictions, okay? Because we all saying Boston's gonna win.
Yep.
But by how much? Let's
30.
really put it on the line.
30.
30.
I say about 25.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those
I
games
say
where
27.
I
I'll go Boston 23.
what is this? What's it?
Price is Right. I'm gonna go $1 over.
Show.
I
Yeah,
got
$1 over.
I'm like, here's $1.
Yeah.
Here's $1.
Okay.
But-
Yeah. So we all expect a blowout, but it's going to be interesting.
Now,
Arku says
will
20.
the Celtics, and this is one thing that I'm not really a big believer in, but I know this will be the talk. If the Knicks series goes 7 and Boston wins handily tonight and they got that little rest before the Eastern Finals, does that make a difference? I say no, because these are pros coming to play. But you know how some people say, oh, Boston got the rest a couple days. I mean, I don't know if that means
When would they play the first ECF in that? Because that means Game 7 for the Knicks and Indiana would be Sunday. So if you're saying they play on Tuesday, then it's going to be a big advantage for Boston. But if it's for Wednesday, it might be advantage to Indiana or Philly Indiana or New York, because they're playing while Boston might just get a little stagnant.
That's what I like. A lot of people they twist that. You can twist that either way. Yes, Boston got the rest, but this team's playing consistently every other day. They're in the groove. So yeah, that's what I was looking for in that. Thank you, Coach.
Well, Arku says game 1 will be Tuesday, so that might be Boston. Then, well, no, if they close out today, and they don't play that's a week off.
Mm-hmm.
Just about, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there any way, is Porzingis hurt so bad he's never coming back or is there a possibility of him coming back for Eastern Finals or Finals?
I don't know. Coming back Eastern. I thought Mitch.
I don't know.
The last thing I heard was Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, I had no clue.
I don't know if it'll be game 1. I don't know if it'll be game 1.
Ooh. If you're playing the Knicks without him game 1,
it's gonna be interesting.
I think it'll be. I think he'll be there like game 2. That's just a prediction, but yeah, we'll see from there. So,
and you'd have a week off possibly.
Yeah, crazy. All right. So on that note, guys, thank you all for tuning in for Pick and Roll Podcast episode number 71. We'll see you guys next week for Pick and Roll Podcast episode number 72.
Right.
Mitch, Nikki, or Game 7, Blaze Radio, Coach Ed, and Rios from the Just Fans Podcast. And we'll catch you all next week. Everyone have a good night and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network. Peace, guys.
Bradley! Yeah!